Yo, welcome back to the Audio Theory Podcast. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. What's good, Danny? How have you been?
I've been good, dude. Happy episode 200 to us. If I was drinking, I think you're also sober right now, right?
Yep.
All right, well, cheers. I got some lemonade here, so cheers to you, my guy.
Nice.
We
my empty coffee cup.
Empty coffee. But happy New Year, bro. I'm feeling good. I lost 14 pounds on the plane, but I made it back from Thailand in one piece. Dude, had a great fucking time, bro. Well, I really just, dude, I don't want to say you have it easier than me going from California, but bro, that travel was crazy, bro. Like, oh my God, bro. 28 hours each way. It was 2 extra hours on each flight coming back to like Miami. I was like, this is brutal, bro. Like I don't know how I did this all the time as a kid going from New York to India, but dude, this is like, as a grown-ass man in economy, bro, like I was tired.
And a grown-ass man who's like 6'5".
Yo, dude, we got lucky that like we did a good job of like getting exit row and like being strategic with like the seats next to us also being empty, so we had like a whole row. But bro, like that flight itself makes me question like the next time I want to go to Asia, if I'm being perfectly honest.
No, because I was like, so as you know, like one of my friends brought up Rolling Loud Thailand, and I was like, oh, let me just check the flights, like what route I would take if I even decided to go. And I'm like, damn, this shit really is like a 30-hour trip, even from California, because I don't know why, but maybe it's because like Korea and Japan are much simpler trips where you can actually from California do a direct flight.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Thailand, with Thailand, you still have to stop in fucking like Singapore or something, then another like 4 hours, catch a flight to Bangkok. And then if you're going to a different part of Thailand, you have to take another flight. So like there's just so much to get to the other parts of Thailand.
Yeah, bro. That again, dude, 10 out of 10 experience. Me and my wife had a wonderful time, beautiful experience, all the great stuff. But I think that was, so I'm glad what we did was like 4 nights each place. So like we didn't feel like the rush of going back to an airport every couple of days. But bro, that was the fucking annoying part, bro. So Miami to Qatar was 13 hours. Qatar for 3 hours. Qatar to Bangkok, 7 hours. Bangkok to Koh Samui, because we didn't even stay in Bangkok, another hour and a half. So bro, like door to door was a full like 40 hours, bro. And it was just like, all right, let's go hang out. You know, like, and I'm like, bro, we like, dude, like the first 2 days, bro, like we didn't really have anything to do in Koh Samui besides like some like nostalgic things for me when I was a kid. Bro, but thank God, bro, because like if we actually wanted to go, we were just so tired, bro. We were like, bro, I just want to sleep. I don't want to do anything. I don't give a fuck about the jet lag. It is what it like, bro. So we got a lot of rest. So, but yeah, dude, but the trip was amazing. But yeah, like I want to go to Tokyo. We were talking about this like a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, bro, I don't know if I can do another Asia trip in like a 12, like I need like maybe a couple of years, bro. And I know these are like first world problems, like, oh, boo-hoo, you can't go to fucking Asia, whatever. But I'm just saying, like after doing that trip, I'm like, dog, this has to be like an every couple 2-3 years thing, bro.
Yeah, no, it can definitely be daunting. And like after the 1 or 2, like 1 or 2 times that we've been able to use credit card points to do business class, I'm like, I got to find a way to make this like the exclusive way to travel, because
the only way.
Yeah, the only way.
Yeah,
because
100%.
There's no other like humanly possible way that my body can withstand fucking the torture of being in economy. When we did that for Portugal, again, first world problems, I was just like, God damn, I can't sleep, I can't focus, like the food shit, I got no leg room, and I'm not even 6 feet tall. And this is painful. So yeah, if you're listening, donate to us so we can travel.
Donate. Yeah, just for that, bro, please. We'll do like episodes abroad. But bro, the funny thing is when I pulled up to the on the initial part of the trip, I was like, yeah, they were like, oh, so what you guys go to Thailand for? Like the, not the stewardess, like the person working for the airline though, like when you check in. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's our honeymoon. Is there like a honeymoon special for like upgrades? And she's like, let me see what I can do for you. So I was like, all right, bro, cool. I wasn't a pussy. I asked, blah, blah, blah. Bro, she comes to me with like, well, it'll be $6,000 total. I'm like, bitch, that's the same offer on the phone. Like that's not even
like making it seem like it's a favor.
Yo, like she got me. She's like, yo, I got you. Don't worry. Let me see what I can do. I'm like, bro, you just repeated what's on the website. I was like, fuck out of here, bro. But yo,
what a steal.
What a steal, bro. That was my thing, man. Like, again, you know how expensive these flights are, but like my thing was like, I didn't feel guilty for not like, you know, splurging on like the upgrade because I'm like, bro, that's not even a realistic upgrade price, bro. Like, all right, say it's like a G extra or two, bro. I'm like, all right, man, like it makes sense. Like you're telling me a $2,000 ticket now becomes $8,000? Like, bro, like how does that work? Like,
yeah, the economics just don't make sense to me, which is why like I'm pretty confident the majority of people who do sit in the premium seats are either doing it because their company's paying for it
100%,
or they have a shit ton of points and it makes sense because points are like fake money basically. But no, I don't think the average person is just like, yeah,
there's no way
$30,000 for a 8-hour flight or whatever the fuck.
There's no way. 100%. Either it's points, company. And bro, I've been in first class where I get upgraded because of my wife, like her flight attendant shit. So I'm like, bro, I know this is all a scam. Like once like you know enough, you're like, bro, y'all not rich, bro. Like good for you. I'm happy for you, but I know this is a facade. There's no way, bro. Like imagine LA. I remember there was a flight to LAX from Miami, and it was like $9,000 first class. I'm like, bro, what sense does that make? One way, bro. Like it's not even a round trip. I'm like one way flight. So kudos to them who have it. But yeah, dude, happy to be back. Obviously want to check in on you, bro, before we get into the episode. Obviously the LA fires are pretty crazy. I know you have firsthand experience of some family members being affected by it. So today's January 13th, so almost a couple days after all this kind of started happening. Like, how are you feeling today? And how's your family doing?
Feeling a lot better than last week. I think last week was just so sudden and unpredictable. Like, I had no idea who was going to be affected next. Like, my aunt being affected alone was a shock, especially being in California. I know we have natural disasters, but they're pretty rare. They're rare, but extreme when they happen, such as earthquakes and whatnot. And in this instance, I don't know, when you see the news and stuff, you just never really expect it to happen to you or people you know. And having it happen to my aunt was a shocker, especially because that house was a house that I frequented ever since I was a kid. So even though it wasn't like my home per se, it was familiar enough to where it felt like my home disappeared to some degree. And then on top of that, my mom and dad, who are divorced and live separately, coincidentally, both their homes are like not in the evacuation zone, but not far enough to the point where if the wind picks up, you know, they very well could be in the situation. And it's even weirder because I mean, fires in LA kind of happen all the time, but it's usually the houses that are like deep in the hills surrounded by trees and shit that are at risk. But like my friends and parents and stuff, they're urban, living in areas that are urban enough to where you're not expecting that kind of chaos. But at this point, like, you know, I think my aunt and cousin are like more in the acceptance stage. They're in Palm Springs or in that area hanging out with a friend or staying at a friend's place. They obviously have like the GoFundMe. I'm sure, or I'm not sure, but was told that insurance is providing temporary housing for them as well. I think some funds to like for essentials as far as like the home itself. Sure, that shit will take a couple years. Who knows? I have no idea how all that works. But regardless, I think everyone's kind of in disbelief still to a degree, as am I. It's still pretty early in all of this, so it's kind of hard to really soak in all of the chaos behind it, and then obviously politics and conspiracy theories and all that bullshit makes it even cloudier, which is kind of like, I don't know, the part that's more intriguing to me now, because I'm beginning to realize, and we can tie it into music to make it a bit more fun and less depressing. But I'm beginning to realize like California really does have like a lot of hate. And I know, and why I was alluding to music was Kendrick in the West Coast
Yeah, yeah,
winning,
yeah.
and whatnot. But I didn't realize how bad the reputation was of it being like this Hollywood elite that's liberal and like apparently ruining the country. Like based on what I read on Reddit, it seems like a lot of people are just upset with California and what it represents as a whole, and they assume everyone there is just filthy rich, liberals or Jews or whoever who aren't really victims because their house burned down, but it's only one of 10 houses and this and that. And there's just a lot of misconceptions around LA that I've always been kind of uncomfortable with because it's transplants who ruin the reputation really. Whereas most of my friends and family are just regular ass people who've been here for decades, worked really hard, don't have just $10 million sitting around to buy another house if something happens. And it's also very clear to me that people have no idea how home ownership works. Just because your home is worth 500,000, $1 million doesn't mean you have that sitting in the bank. Or just because your home's worth $1 million doesn't mean that's what you paid for it. Like these people have, I looked it up. My aunt's house appreciated 10 times because they bought it like 40 years ago. And they wouldn't see any of that money until they sold it. So, they weren't rich by like conventional standards. So there's just a lot of stuff that I've been unpacking since all this happened because it puts it into perspective when you see people trying to decide how much they should care about this tragedy.
Yeah. I think it's a misconception. I mean, I don't know, dude, if it's like the LA nature of it, right? Because I think, like, again, I'll give you like an East Coast perspective. Like, when you think of LA, like, I don't think of Hollywood immediately. Like, I think about all parts of it, right? Especially when I came to visit you, like, there's the Malibu aspect of it, and like Venice Beach, and obviously there's the Compton aspect of all those different aspects of it. But I don't know, man. I feel like the initial images, or maybe like the verbiage that certain like media outlets use, was like Malibu and like the Palisades, and like maybe that name has a different connotation, bro. And then like there was like that video of like this guy like rescuing his horses. So it was almost like you're like, all right, but why are you only showing the rich people, right? Like there's like, I know for a fact there's normal ass people who lost their apartment building, right? Like it's not just like homeowners, like it's all over the board. It's like, I feel like, again, maybe this just generated the most clicks, right? I don't know. But it felt like there was also like a push from like media outlets to like make it seem like only the elite were affected.
Right. And that's a very great point. And that's also why I'm not like so quick to judge people for feeling the way they feel, because when you do have articles highlighting, fucking Gina Aiko and Paris Hilton lost their homes, understandably, you're not going to really care. Even if like, it's bad, you're thinking to yourself, well, I can't even get groceries. Like she can ultimately buy another home pretty quickly. Or if she can't, she could fucking release a single tomorrow and shit'll pay.
Yeah, dude, there was like a couple TikTok that were only talking about all the celebrities that got affected. I'm like, bro, what about everyone else? Like, there's
right.
Like...
And even at my wife's office, like people were, this is like before it became as big as it is, but like people were joking, like, I hope Kim Kardashian's home's okay and this and that. So very clearly the media did a horrible job of highlighting the regular people affected. And I can't blame people who don't live in LA or realize like, the communities that were affected, because, my aunt's community is like a historically Black community that was, there's some nice homes there, but by no means did they have like horses and shit and, all of that. And that community is pretty much entirely gone. And these are people who can't easily just buy another home. One of my family friends, he was in that similar area and he lost his home. Apparently he didn't have insurance. So I have like absolutely no idea what's going to happen with his living situation. He's staying at my mom's right now, but it just goes to show you like the wealth disparity as well. And yeah, like the people in Palisades and Malibu shouldn't be, shamed for being rich,
right?
Or whatever,
it so
but
sucks.
At the same time, yeah, because you're like, who knows what valuables you would lose that you can't replace. Like it could be as simple as a wedding ring, like footage of like your son's first time walking or some shit. Like there's all kinds of things that you just can't pay for. And I think that's why it's kind of insensitive too when people are quick to be like, you're alive, that's all that matters. Even though it's true, I think you need to give someone space to grieve. Like you and I know, like we've grieved and continue to, but you wouldn't want someone immediately to be like, oh, like think about the brighter side. Like
you still have your dad.
Person be said, like, or like, guess what? Like, my brother or mom, is a jerk. Like, no one wants to hear that shit like immediately.
Yeah.
So, it's insane, and I'm just really curious to see what changes come out of it. Like, there's gonna be conspiracy theories and shit, but I hope California gets its shit together. And if this is what it takes, whether or not the government's involved or some random ass arsonist, I just hope 10 years from now,
it's not a fear again.
Change.
Yeah.
Right.
So question for you, only because, again, not that we watch the news. Again, I'm not saying that you do. I don't think like most American men our age sit down and watch CNN, right? But was there any like lead up, like maybe like the days prior saying, hey guys, there's a chance that there's going to be some bad winds, or like, is that ever a thing? Or is this just like you wake up one day and it's just fucking smoking within 5 miles and you need to react right away?
Typically it's sudden. So from what I understand, this is a very coincidental tragedy in the sense that the winds happen to be perfectly insane in terms of speed, and then the fire just so happened to happen around that time. So typically it's like, I believe it's just sudden, happens to be a dry ass day, drought, fire starts, the fire department or whoever doesn't catch on to it quick enough, and then it burns down a few homes, and that's kind of the end of the story in most cases. But in this case, it was like in the morning, I saw some news about the fire outbreak, and then by midnight, or maybe the next morning, but I think by midnight was when the family was like, oh shit, like this thing's blowing quick, because the winds I think were like 100 miles an hour. Insane. It was literally like people could jump up in the air and fucking fly like 10
wow
feet.
That's crazy.
So the wind was just disastrous, and that was completely unexpected. And then of course news coverage took off because regular ass people started getting affected, and I think that's really what it was. Like I already know one other person besides my aunt whose house burned down, several of my brother's friends' houses burned down, and a shit ton of people were affected.
Oh, how's Mickey doing?
He's fine. Obviously was concerned about him because there was like 3 separate fires. That one never came to fruition. I think that one was started by arsonists and
which
caught
is fucking
in time.
Crazy, bro. Like, yeah.
But yeah, another thing, people are looting, taking advantage. I mean, this happens anytime there's a tragedy, so I don't want to pretend like the world is never seen this kind of shit before.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just, it doesn't help the narrative of California. California just looks like it's the crazy rich uncle with like drug issues or some shit.
Yeah, Newsom, he's a disaster. And then they're talking about the mayor was going on a fucking vacation to Ghana.
Yeah.
When this has happened. Just a bad look, bro. But we'll definitely, every time we post these stories or on TikTok, we'll put the links for a couple GoFundMes that we're supporting. And but if whoever's watching this, whenever you're watching it, do some research, and if you could help anyone in need, it'll be a good look for all. So bro, thank you for sharing, bro, because I know that shit hit close to home, literally. So as of today on the 13th, though, is it are there fires still out there, or has that, from what you know, has that stopped at least?
It's still out there, but it's like 15% contained, which sounds low, but much more promising than
what it was like 30 hours ago.
It was like 0% last week.
Crazy. All right, well, let's pivot, man, to some music stuff. Again, episode 200, milestone episode. Again, hopefully bigger and better things for the pod this year, God willing. All right, bro. So I think there's 2 parts to Little Baby, right? Because we actually, on episode 199, which is everywhere, it felt like the media was trying to push Little Baby's new album to be like the greatest thing that ever happened to hip hop. So I'll be honest with you. It dropped the same day as Bad Bunny, and Bad Bunny's album ended up being very, very good. At least I fell in love with it. So I didn't listen to Lil Baby's album yet, but the reviews that I read of it are like insane, like just shitting on the album completely. I do know as of this week, though, the album ended up going #1. So kudos to Lil Baby for his 4th #1 album, beating out Bad Bunny, which is crazy. Did you get a chance to actually listen to the album, though? And do you have any feedback to share on it?
I did. Personally, it was pretty painful. It was exactly what I expected. I've never been the biggest fan of Lil Baby, so maybe it would be more interesting to hear from someone who's championed like all of his previous work. But unanimously, it seems like everyone agrees about the narrative that he just produces the same song over and over and over. It was very repetitive. And it just wasn't special. Like I would almost rather it be horrible or be phenomenal. Like don't just be in the middle and be uninteresting. And that's what it felt like. Like it would be perfect background gym music. Like you're not paying attention to the lyrics, beats dope, same flow, whatever. But like to sit there and actually try to listen and get something out of it, it felt like homework. And I don't like feeling that way when it comes to music, because you shouldn't. We're not, getting paid millions of dollars to do this shit. And it felt like a chore. And I have zero interest in listening to any of his more music. I just wish he would take more risks. Like it could be as simple as beat selection. Because like for me, for instance, like me making my own music, depending on the beat, I'm forced to try to do something different. Like you're not going to get on a house beat or something and do the exact same thing. And I think that's why other artists similar to him, like Young Thug or Gunna, even thrive, is because they've done shit on different types of production. But it seems like Lil Baby just works with the same 5 people, same features, Lil Durk, Future, blah, 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 same content, same beat. And it just gets old. And I'm like, why are we here?
Yeah, why are we here? So some of the comments that I saw from like I think like the Athletic, or no, it was like Hype Beast did like a little article on it, but they were saying that the overall feeling from the album was that you were listening to a guy who peaked 4 years ago and is still talking about the same things, like the watches, the rich lifestyle, the Hampton parties, all that, and then was taking minimal risks as far as like the content. So I wanted to ask you about that specific part. Like, do you think any of like the RICO charges and all that stuff is like him maybe just being afraid of saying anything that could get his ass in trouble in any kind of way?
I'm sure there's elements of that, but I think from like a musical standpoint, I don't think that's what's holding him back from making great music, because that's never been what we cared about in the first place. Like
At least from him.
Yeah, at least from him. So I don't think that would be a good excuse. And I'm sure some people might point to that, but he could literally rap about anything and it'll still sound dry as hell if it's over the same beat with the same 4 features. So I don't buy that excuse. Okay.
So yeah, dude, I feel like maybe do we all fall victim to, I mean, no, dude, because I would say, because the bigger than what was that song called? The one like during the peak of COVID? Was it
the political one?
Yeah. Was it bigger than rap?
The Bigger Picture.
The Bigger Picture. Like that song was fire. The videos were great. But I know the album that did very well would drop like the year before that, and we all fell in love with that body of work. But bro, it's just wild to me that was the peak. Right? Because I feel like we've had this feeling about him now for a good 4 years, where it's just like, bro, like, what are you saying? Right? Like that. I knew things were going south, bro, when that joint album with Lil Durk did nothing for us. I'm like, bro, you guys are meant to be the 2 hottest rappers out. Like, how is this so bland?
Yeah.
So yeah, bro. Like, but yeah, again, I'm gonna listen to the album because I need to truly understand it for myself. But yeah, I wasn't in a rush to listen to it, bro, because when I got back from Thailand, all the reviews were horrendous. And I'm like, Jesus, like this is like unanimously bad. And then I was more shocked, again, maybe because he does have a core fan base, but the fact that he still ended up selling substantially well to go number one. Again, good for him, right? Like but I wonder how aggressively those numbers drop like the second week, because again, bro, I've never seen such bad feedback for an album that essentially did so well sales wise.
Yeah. And I'm sure part of it too, why it's doing well, is he's the biggest rap artist who dropped recently. So he doesn't really have much he's competing with. And then two, I don't even think the content is so much the issue, because we could point at a bunch of rappers who kind of rap about the same shit every album. But to bring up 21 Savage again, just because, you know, he's from Atlanta as well and kind of in a similar boat, like if you listen to that album, the production is pretty different across each song, and he's rapping about nothing super lyrical or important, but at the end of the day, it hits, whether it's the hook that's dope or the beat, the variety of the beats, the features, like the fact that he had Doja Cat, who else, like Travis Scott, I guess Lil Baby had Travis Scott as well, but yeah, Doja Cat, Brent, is it Brent Faiyaz?
Brent Faiyaz. I mean, just the idea of having like your mom on the intro and the outro, like giving it a more like overall cohesiveness. Yeah, it just again, I don't want to say it sounded different. It sounded different to the average Atlanta album, right? Because again, I don't want to compare it to this, because I didn't listen to the album yet.
Yeah, so like that alone just is refreshing, and I think it's not that, it's very simple, like what Lil Baby has to do, just work with different people, whether that's the producer, the people you have featured on your songs, and they'll help bring out a different side of you. And I think that's why people respect Kanye when he taps into these people, because he forces them to approach the song differently. And I don't think Lil Baby's capable of doing that when the beats sound exactly the fucking same. I'm sure part of him is like, it's just muscle memory. So he hears the similar rhythm, and then Lil Durk's on it, and it's just regurgitating basically the same thing paraphrased.
Damn. What? And the ironic thing, the album title, "Who's Harder Than Me?" It's like, bro, I can name a few guys.
Yeah, that's what's so ironic. And his ego within this industry though will have them thinking like, rethinking or pondering on their glory days or whatever, right? Because once you're that guy, it's hard for anyone to tell you you're not.
Yeah, so that's I think my thing, because this seems, again, seemingly that the overall reaction to it has been negative. I would be curious to see if there's a change in approach, or if he just sees it as like, bro, I had my 4th #1 album. What are we talking about? Right? Like, how is this whack? Right? Like you would wish you were this whack, kind of a thing. So yeah, we'll see. But definitely let us know in the comment sections all over social media, like what your thoughts were on this, and maybe we have it wrong. But again, we'll circle back if we need to on that one. So before I bring up Bad Bunny, though, I do want to bring up another hip hop song artist that kind of just has been a big deal over the last 2 weeks. LiAngelo Ball, or Gelo, right? Is it LiAngelo Ball?
Yeah, Gelo. Is it
Gelo? I think Cam calls him Gelo, but I think it's Gelo Ball. Dropped Tweaker single. His brother helped him produce the song. Bro, I know, again, this is like, you guys, I can be labeled a hater. Bro, I know the song is doing numbers. I know this, dude, he's just, so you know, I don't know if you've been online today, as of today, apparently he signed a $13 million record deal with Def Jam Records, and they gave him an $8 million guarantee because of like the popularity of this song, bro. Dude, besides the whoa, what is there to like about the song? Like, I'm so confused as to how this is such a big deal.
Yeah.
Besides that, oh, this is funny that this kid from the Ball brothers and he's light skinned, so let's get Drake the fuck out of here. We could just put anyone else. Bro, I'm like, well, how is this such a big deal? So, like, what is your thoughts on that fucking song?
I would say there's reasons why I like it, or at least can see why other people like it. I think the nostalgia factor of it, for sure, because it sounds like some shit like Manny Fresh would have put out 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
Sure. I can see that.
So that's dope. I mean, people love nostalgia, and that's why you have rappers resampling every goddamn hit within the past 15 years. But I think it's also I mean, there's low expectations, right? It's always fun to see someone who you didn't expect to rap put out something that's pretty good. And I think it is pretty good, but it's the reason why people are hopping on board is because one, he's like not a known known for rapping. So you want to cheer someone on like who's, diving into a new industry and doing pretty good. And then on top of that, I mean, the hook's pretty catchy, but I think it's just really the low expectations. So like if any other seasoned rapper put out this song with the same lyrics and cadence, I don't think we're necessarily
care that much
about it on Twitter all day, like NBA YoungBoy or something. But the fact that it's a basketball player and then it sounds pretty good and it's catchy and easy for people to recite, it's just like the perfect formula. But it's wild to me that you can't necessarily recreate this shit over and over. So $13 million is crazy to me. Salute to him. Like, I would be happy as hell if I were him, and I would milk it as much as I can. But it's wild to me that people are acting like this necessarily will have longevity, because it's one thing to make a hit, but to do it over and over is extremely difficult.
Yeah, I think it's just he got so many ears and eyes so quickly, right? Like, bro, that like, dude, like on different interviews, bro, like people are quoting the lyrics. But my thing is like, bro, I feel like people only know those two things, right? Yo, bending the corner, swerving, and then whoa. And like, bro, that's a 3-minute song that I don't know any other lyrics of. So like, I'm like, bro, what part do we love the most? Like, that's the part where I'm like, which part do you truly love, right? So again, I'm not trying to be a hater, bro. Like, I agree with everything you said and more. Like, yo, it's catchy. It's very like, it's some Nelly, Cash Money, like that era, 100%. But when I find, that's what I think, like what I hate when you're like either on the East Coast and you like these things drop at midnight and everyone had like 4 hours on you to like make an assumption on it. So like, I feel like I go into these songs like expecting like a hit, and then you're just like, no, that's all right. And I'm like, and that's how I felt, unfortunately, bro, with this song. I'm like, all right, bro, this is, I'm happy for you, bro. But like, I don't hear it. Like, bro, I played it the one time because I'm like, all right, I want to know what the fuss is about. And I've never gone back to it.
Yeah. I mean, we've also been oversaturated with, the standard trap Atlanta sound, super aggressive trap lyrics that aren't, necessarily catchy or fun. But this is some like, old school party shit that the DJ can throw on at a day party, and people can ironically and unironically sing it. Like, some people are kind of like making fun of it, but then it kind of grows,
and then some people are actually like
catchy.
fucking with it. Yeah.
So it's like that perfect balance. It's like you almost have to create something that is just teetering on like the borderline of like whack,
corny,
but also kind of like creative. Corny, but like also kind of dope if you don't take it so
like
serious.
That's like the Soulja Boy lane. Like, it's that perfect balance, right? And there was times that he went too corny. We're like, bro, stop. But then like that Turn Your Swag On, Superman, that like those songs, you're like, oh, bro, this is like, it's ironically trash, but also fire.
Yeah, you almost have to intentionally make something that it's hard to tell if it's a joke or not.
Yeah, that's a great, 100%. And I think it helps that, bro, because he's a ball brother, and like, bro, this is everywhere, bro. There's like every like post-game interview in the locker room, they're blaring it, and then the reporter's asking about it, like, oh, what's your favorite line? Blah, like, bro, like, I can see this, dude. Apparently he's doing Rolling Loud in LA. And it's just like, bro, how did this happen, bro? Like, But to be fair, we've been to Rolling Loud, and there's been people there we don't even know who the fuck they are. So I get it.
But it's also wild to be somewhere based off of one song. I know that kind of happens with a lot of artists. Like, people are really only there to see you do one song. But I'm curious what his other songs and content is like, because who knows what the rest of the year will look like for him. Just based off this one song. Like, is he going to try to recreate this type of thing 100 times, or is he gonna use this as like a launching pad and try to do some left field shit that's like a lot more serious and lyrical? Like, I have no idea.
It can go in any direction, and apparently it's worth $13 million, which is like, yo.
Yeah. But I mean, salute to him.
Salute to him, bro. And his LeVar Ball, his dad, wins again, bro. 3 sons that are fucking just, bro, good millionaires, bro. Like crazy. But shout out to Gelo. And again, the song is Tweaker if you haven't heard it yet. So this might be a good segue then, bro. Let's get into because I brought up Rolling Loud. Obviously, Drake's been in the news. We'll get into the Fighting Irish freestyle league that happened over past weekend. But was it Tarek from Rolling Loud? Is that his name? Tariq?
Tariq, yep.
Yeah, so he was on an interview with Big Boy in LA talking about how they offered Drake multiple invites to do Rolling Loud over the years. One of them, you can headline it for 3 nights in a row, and he's always ducked it. So what was because obviously you and I have a special fondness for that event itself, and we've been to it a couple times together and separately. What was your thoughts on like that conversation about him talking about Drake not wanting to do it in the past?
I mean, it did have an air of saltiness to it. Obviously, I have no idea the true reason why Drake may have been hesitant. But I think at the end of the day, specifically given recent events, well, one, let me backtrack. Like in terms of prior to the beef, I feel like when you're an artist of that caliber, you're just gonna think about these sorts of festivals a bit differently. Like, is it worth the exposure?
What's the benefit?
Yeah. What's the benefit? Like, do you really need to do this? Do you really need to congregate with like 80 other motherfuckers backstage? Like, there's just so many factors that would have me question whether or not it's worth it, even though, it's quote unquote the biggest hip hop festival. So that's one thing. But I think more recently, if the implication is that Drake is afraid to come to LA or be around these rappers, I think it's totally valid to like not want to be in an environment where you're probably not going to be celebrated. I don't know if it necessarily means you're scared or pussy, but at the end of the day, it's business. And if TDE is going to be there, or like the crowd is not going to be messing with you, then why even show up, especially if you don't need the bag. However, I will say during the diss, Drake did say, I get more love in your city than you. So that didn't age very well. If he truly believes that, he should definitely do the Rolling Loud. But otherwise, I'm not mad at any rapper or artist choosing not to go somewhere where there's conflict and you don't need the money. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. It's kind of like people who make fun of rappers for bringing security and pulling up instead of like just going straight to the ops or whatever. Like these guys have shit to lose. Why the fuck would they let pride and ego put themselves in danger?
Yeah. So again, and I feel like we have a unique perspective as older men, right? But who've gone to this for like been aware of this festival and went to it like almost 6-7 years ago. Like, bro, we even remember back in 2017 when you and I were going through that lineup when we first met. Bro, the biggest name there was like Travis and Future, but Travis wasn't even Travis, right? And I get Travis is a staple of that fucking event now. But even back then, Travis wasn't anything. And then ironically, Kendrick Lamar performed Damn there. But even he wasn't a headliner, right? Like that festival, if you truly go down like the entire list, bro, I know it's a little bit different now, but at its core, it's like B plus list rappers, bro. And like, bro, Drake has been Drake for way longer than Rolling Loud, right? So I think, bro, even us who went to it for like 3 to 4 years straight from like 2017 to 2021 or whatever, bro, even at no point did we ever think getting the lineups that Drake would ever make an appearance here, bro. So I feel like that interview is hard to interpret with easily forgetting like the history, right, of it, bro. Like yes, this is like the hip hop Woodstock. Okay, bro, but what the fuck does that mean to an artist of Drake's caliber, bro? Like, so I feel like the interview, at least the clips that like went viral or whatever, it sounds like a salty like promoter who's been trying to pull every stunt possible to get the biggest artist in the space to come to his shit for like 8 years, and has been told, bro, how thirsty do you have to be to give an artist 3 headlining nights, bro?
Yeah.
And you have Future, Playboy Cardi, Lil Wayne, ASAP Rocky, Kanye has done it twice, Kendrick Lamar, and you're offering this dude 3 nights in a row. Fuck out of here, bro. Like, it sounds thirsty, bro. And I think it's easy to get caught up in the moment, right? So I think even like you were kind of alluding to it, like, yes, today it would seem weird if he was offered it. Like, why would you turn it down? Like, it could be a good look, get the people back, whatever. But like, in the grand scheme of things, bro, I don't think this is beneath Drake, bro. Like, this is like, I know we had moments that we loved it, but bro, this is a very much like grassroots festival that, yes, it has like headlining names that we love, but bro, like, we've been to it a couple times, bro. This never felt like the appropriate setting, even for Kendrick, bro. Like, it's when Kendrick was there, I was like, bro, like, why are you here? Like, this felt you're way too big for this. And that was 6 years ago, you know? So like, I don't know, bro. I can see why a Drake would never do it. Cause like, that's like Taylor Swift doing, or some random ass fucking like amphitheater. It's like, why are you here? Right? Like, I think that's, again, only because we've been to it, bro. We know what that is, bro. It's a fucking bunch of 12-year-olds. Like, why would like, again, especially after what happened at Camp Flognog to him like 4 years ago, like, why would he even put himself in that setting to be around people? He's like, bro, like, this is a waste of my time.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like when we first saw Kendrick at that first Rolling Loud, it wasn't like quite as odd to me. But over time, once we've, been 2, 3, 4 times, and you get a sense of the crowd and people's reactions and why they're really there and all that stuff, at that point, I'm like, okay, now I feel like this is more of like a rage fest where only someone like Travis Scott is really going to be celebrated.
Playboy driving that shit.
Playboy, yeah, like basically, if you're over the age of 20, you're probably not going to enjoy this shit type of festival. And Drake is at a point where his audience is like, his core audience is growing in age. And from a business standpoint, I don't think it makes sense. Like, unless you expect to draw in a shit ton of 16 to 18-year-olds, which is not going to be the case, there's really no reason to be there. And I don't see Kendrick wanting to do that ever again either.
No, but I feel like he does. I think I don't know. It's weird, bro, because I feel like remember he did, at least for Miami, he didn't do, when he dropped Mr. Morale, bro. He instead of doing a Miami show, he did Rolling Loud Miami, and that was a part of the tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. So I feel like
nice.
I don't know. Maybe he's cool with like Tarek and those guys, and he like that's different. Right? Like, if it's your boys. But I feel like Kendrick has shown love to them, and I'm not poo-pooing it. I just think he's like cool with that he like, yeah, I'll come and do your show.
Yeah.
But I also agree. I think Kendrick is too big for it. Like, I don't even know why Kanye did it, but he's just fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain artists where I know Rolling Loud has this, like, people are enamored with it because maybe it's like the only thing we have in hip hop, like, to that level. But bro, when you go to this shit, you're like, bro, like, this is what we love, bro. The fucking sound is fucking terrible. Like, what do you like? I don't know, man. I think because we've had bad experiences, or at least I'll speak for myself. Like, I'm like, bro, this shit is not the glamorous. If we're trying to compare this to like Woodstock, bro, it's not, bro. Like, this is not Coachella. Like, Coachella is like a gazillion times better organized and stuff like that. Like, so it just, again, I feel like being at the grassroots of it, like, I can never see a Drake or an artist of that caliber ever doing that kind of show.
No, and unfortunately the crowd is that works for any concert or festival. The crowd makes a huge difference on whether or not it's an enjoyable show. And I've heard Rolling Loud Thailand, like, the audience is just so much better and respectful, and these are people who actually want to see hip hop. Because they don't see.
They're
these
so
artists.
grateful. Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, like ASAP Rocky. I haven't he hasn't been here in fucking 15 years or whatever. Whereas all these kids are there
every year.
Probably see him for the 8th
Yeah.
time. They just want to fucking take 20 perks and invite some bitch from their high school class who like they have a crush on or some shit, and then call it a day. They're not really there to celebrate music.
Yeah, bro. Think about like the Cuddy thing from like 2 years ago. People kept throwing fucking bottles at his head. Like, bro, that's like a legend. Like, yeah, bro. I just think shit like that, bro. Like, I feel like that festival has that connotation that it was just weird that there was even a conversation of like, oh, why is Drake ducking this? It's like, bro, ducking what? Why would he want to do it? Like,
right.
And I feel like that remove 2024's beef moment. Like, bro, that's been I thought that was a fucking like clear as day understanding going back for the last 7-8 years. Like, ever since like Rolling Loud existed, like I feel like that was never a show that was ever gonna entice Drake to be a part of it, bro. When like the biggest thing about that show is Playboy Cardi and Trippie Redd at times. Like,
right?
How the fuck do you fit Drake into that?
Yeah, and I think it would look weird if Drake had already agreed to it and then started making excuses last minute, like, oh, like not sure if it's the best thing for me to do or whatever. Then he would kind of look like a pussy. But the fact that he never agreed to anything ever, before beef, post beef, just take the L. If he doesn't want to do it, don't do it.
Take the L, bro. Like, that's what I think it is. I think it's just like the ego of like maybe the promoters of that festival. It's like, bro, we get everyone else, and this one guy doesn't want to do. Because I think J. Cole headlined a couple times, right? Like when we were there, yeah. So literally everyone has done it but him. So again, but I feel like he is the anomaly in that genre. But let's stay on subject with him real quick. So the Fighting Irish freestyle leaked. I do believe. Did his team put the video out or did somebody else?
His team. Oh, sorry. The producer did. His name is escaping me.
Conductor.
Conductor, yeah.
But I do believe since then it has been taken down.
Yeah, it was taken down pretty quickly.
Correct. And there were some stories behind that UMG was behind taking it down because they didn't authorize the song. Maybe it was even Drake. Who knows? But again, what are your thoughts? Drake definitely leaned into it, right? Just to catch people up. So the song comes out. It's clearly not the finished product of the song. He's not rapping on beat. It feels like he's honestly talking through like a fucking prison phone. So you're trying to like catch up like what's happening. The lyrics are fine. He leans into the beef stuff again, calls out other people, blah, 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 blah. And he also like makes some like analogies to it on his like Instagram page, but never leans in completely. So what are your thoughts on just the whole way that came out?
I'm so sick of this like, oh, it leaked and I didn't really mean for it to come out bullshit. It seems like every release from Drake for the past 6 months has been that format. And
including push-ups, if we're being honest.
Yeah, including push-ups. Like nothing was really stamped by him, and I don't know why. It's odd to me. Like I think it's abundantly clear that he's meaning for a lot of this shit to come out. So that's one thing. And then on top of that, it seems kind of outdated. I know in the video he sells braids. Like I personally, and a lot of people I feel like have fatigue from this whole back and forth between Kendrick and him. And it's like, it's 2025. We're still talking about this shit. Like I wish this had come out 3 months ago, not now. Cause like, it's hard for me to care. Like I think it was skillful in terms of how his wordplay and rhyme scheme and all that stuff. But in terms of like giving a shit, that shit has sailed a long ass time ago.
I don't know, but what do you think from like the LeBron James aspect of it, and him just like airing out more things that were just maybe on his chest of like the other people who kind of like did him wrong? Because I was I will raise my hand. I am a LeBron hater, so like I will put that out there, right? So like I'm a huge Drake fan, and I never liked LeBron, so it's like a perfect marriage for me. But what are your thoughts on him just maybe wanting to get that out in the open and like make it clear, like, yo, I don't fuck with this guy anymore?
That was literally the only thing within all of this that was intriguing to me. Given like airing him out and the allegations and stuff, I think it is petty and doesn't help his reputation, if Drake's reputation, if Drake even cares about that, because then you begin to look like a snitch slash tattletale who broke bro code. But at the same time, like, petty me, if I was about to crash out, I wouldn't necessarily be doing anything differently. Like, if I was being accused of some wild shit and a bunch of people who did wild shit or dancing around, you know, having fun to that, part of me would be like, you know what, like, fuck it, I'm just gonna be like, you're not the angel you pretend to be. But it would require getting to, you know, a certain point within my friendship with someone to be like, I'm just gonna let the whole world know you're not who you say you are. And I don't know if dancing to the song and not like necessarily doing anything else warrants that level of animosity. I don't know, it's tricky, because at the end of the day, it is like a song that everyone's fucking with, but at the same time, you're at the event like exclusively, and it just tells me like maybe Drake thinks he has these deeper relationships with people that isn't true, like isn't real.
Yeah, but I think so. I definitely agree with the like friendships in general in the industry, right? That clearly weren't real to them, right? Maybe I think maybe they were never real to Drake either, so maybe that's why he didn't lose his mind over it. But I think the LeBron one, again, we've spoken about this a little bit on different episodes in the past, but like, bro, he has LeBron tatted on his body, bro. Like, they had business ventures together with like the undefeated Canada shit. Like, bro, like, I think that one at his core was like a real friendship, bro. I think he used to go to his son's like high school games just to show love, right? So like, I think at the core there was a real friendship there, bro. So like, I understand like the popularity of Not Like Us, and you're like the most popular NBA athlete of the world or whatever. But I think if that's your boy, you find a way to not be in the conversation. You don't have to be at the show. I mean, to his credit, he wasn't on stage, woohoo, but don't go to the show. You don't comment on it. You don't tell people how much you love the fucking song. You don't get caught rapping the lyrics. Like, there's ways to, hey, in your private quarters, enjoy the song by yourself, and the whole world doesn't need to know that you're a fucking fan. I think that is what, if I'm Drake and like that's legit my guy, for bro, like Drake wrote the fucking hit song for the fucking movie, bro. What the song, remember the song that had him, Eminem, Kanye, and Lil Wayne? First name greatest, last name ever.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like he did that for you, bro. Like, that was 14 years ago. You guys have been boys. So for like, yeah, bro, I feel like this for him is deeper than that. So like, I feel like the only benefit he got from having this leaked at all was he made it very clear to the world, like, bro, I generally don't, like, you're one of them that I don't fuck with. So like, I'm not mad at that part of it, but it getting leaked in a general, and like this version of it getting leaked, like it'd be one thing if it was like the final version, bro. Like this version where he's clearly not rapping on beat, or there's no beat, and then the beat's being added, like it just doesn't, it's not an enjoyable listen, right? Like when you read the lyrics, you're like, oh, dude, he must be spitting bars. But when you listen to it, you're like, whatever, you know, like it's just like when like your boy's like freestyling at a club and you're like, yeah, bro, it's not bad. You know, but it's just like, why are you doing it? The kind of a thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if you're going to get anyone tatted on your arm, you should probably do a little more due diligence before you decide like absolutely nothing can go wrong. Like someone would damn near have to be about to die and I still might consider not doing it, like
because some shit might come out later.
Yeah, like your last two words might be like fuck this nigga or something, I don't know. So in my mind, I find it strange that he's gotten so many people tatted on him. Maybe that means it's in a weird ironic way doesn't mean as much, like he's not taking it as seriously since he has like fucking 20 people tatted on him.
Yeah, I think he has like Kevin Durant, he has like Sade, he has Aaliyah. Yeah, he has a few people.
So it's and I know people get like Jordan and shit tatted, so I guess it's not the wildest thing, but at the same time,
there was a friendship there though, bro. So like I feel like it is like there was a friendship there. So I think there's more to it. But yeah, that was the only part of all of this that I wasn't mad. If that's the news story coming out that Drake truly doesn't fuck with him and he has a couple bars for LeBron. But again, like everything the last 6 months for him, the timing is just terrible because, like, again, not that it's the same, but like you diss the guy who's the number one player for the LA Lakers at a time that LA is going through hell, literally, and all LeBron is posting at the same time of this like narrative from like academics is like, hey, here's these GoFundMe's to help LA, and it's just like, like how are you gonna be mad at that guy when he has way more important things that he's dealing with than a fucking diss record that doesn't even say his name, bro? So I feel like every move this guy makes is just poor timing, which again is why I'm still confused that there's like these rumors that he's about to drop something soon, and it's just like, bro, like you gotta take the hints, bro, and just like fall back. But like, I don't know, man. I feel like he doesn't want to.
Yeah, I feel like he feels like falling back means that's a true L or like a dub for Kendrick in his mind. Like I feel like he's moved past the reputation, or he's in acceptance stage of the reputation being tarnished. But in terms of like falling back and just being silent, it seems like he's refusing to let things go. And maybe it's just because there's so many different people involved. He's probably more hurt by the people who
than Kendrick itself
didn't get his back versus Kendrick himself, because the Kendrick shit's been brewing. So that animosity or whatever has always been there, but like he's never really had that clearly for LeBron or Future or any of these other people until recently.
Yeah. Was he on the Lil Baby album?
Drake?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. I was just curious about that because I think Baby alluded that they're so cool, but I didn't know if he was.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Interesting, bro. All right, bro. Let's get out of here. I kind of want to save the Kanye topic for next week, so we can kind of do a little bit of deep dive, and I feel like we'll have more overall content for that as well to do even a deeper dive to that. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about though before we get into like heat of the week?
Nope.
All right, cool. So episode 200 about to be in the books, but let's do some heat of the week first for the people. What was your heat of the week? So the last couple weeks, bro.
Yeah, there was a song. I actually played this song over and over and over, and it's from
nice.
an album that is older. So Mike Will's album, it's called Ransom 2. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like a black album cover with like an R that looks like
the jacket.
R, but yeah, the jacket.
Yeah.
And this song in particular, for some reason, I stumbled across it when I was on YouTube. Maybe because I was looking up old Kendrick Lamar
2017 songs. Is crazy because this shit feels like yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's because I was on YouTube and it automatically was playing shit. That's why I sent you that damn Kendrick song. It was called This Isn't My Heat of the Week, but it was the one I sent you, Pride. And then it played Mike Will Made It, and Perfect Pint was the song that caught my attention. So it's Ray Shremmerd and Kendrick's featured on it, and the beats
Gucci
fire.
Mane?
Yeah, and Gucci Mane. The beats fire, the verses fire, just everything about it. Like I was obsessed with it for the past week or so. And it made me want to check out the rest of the album again as well. But it gave me a lot of nostalgia, feelings of nostalgia and longing for those years. Cause I feel like, like 2016 to 2018, you could call it like the mumble era or whatever, but that was when there was
a
lot
fun
more
era,
variety
bro.
and fun music, just fun. And it wouldn't be unusual to see Kendrick and Gucci Mane and Ray Shremmerd and whatever. But now I feel like that's not as common.
Yeah, it's not as common because like I think also like all those guys' careers went at different levels, bro. Like again, I think Sway Lee can drop a diamond single tomorrow as a feature or something. But I think we also like don't take him seriously enough. Just to say that, right? Like we don't take Ray Sherman seriously enough because I know that last album did nothing for us. Gucci Mane is like almost like an enigma. Like, what are you, bro? Like you drop an album every month. And then Kendrick again is just way too big for them, bro. No matter, I know he likes to put on for like LA artists, but like, why would he ever be in a song with Sway Lee? like today,
Yeah.
like 2025 version of this, right? So yeah, dude, this was like 2016, 2017, like when these guys were all either coming up or like reaching that prime of their career. This was a very fun time in music, bro. Yes, I definitely want to check that out. I'll probably check out the whole album. Let me just download the whole album because I know
even like the Nicki Minaj song is fire on there. Nothing is promised. Or sorry, not Nicki Minaj, Rihanna. Like just a lot
Rihanna,
of shit.
But the
there.
fact that, dude, Yachty again, it feels like Yachty is still like a rookie, but like the fact that Yachty has been around really since like 2015, you know? Yeah, Chief Keef. Yeah, but dude, I mean, I know Mike Will made the majority of those Ray Sherman beats, but like, bro, like that was like a fucking match made in heaven when they were just dropping songs like left and right. Cause like, bro, they couldn't miss for like 3 years straight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one, bro. So heat of the week for my boy Blair. It is Perfect Pint. Is it about drinking?
Yeah, it's about lean. Not Kendrick's part, of course, but the rest of it is pretty much about lean.
Got it. All right, bro. Yeah, I'll definitely. This is a great nostalgia song album to peep in general. But I'll definitely peep that song. All right, bro. So for me, I can do my little tangent real quick. So my heat of the week is the Bad Bunny album. I'll pick the one song, but Debe tirar más fotos. Yo, have you been on TikToks like recently at all?
Not recently, no, not really.
Okay, bro. So there's a fucking phenomenal trend, which is why I'm convinced, and I'm putting this out there as an audio theory guarantee, bro, that I think TikTok caught on to the album a little bit late, so the numbers don't make sense. But bro, once the overall numbers of like what this album's gonna do, once this thing started going viral, bro, Bad Bunny's album's gonna be number one next week by like a mile. Sorry, so I'm putting that out there right now. But bro, this album is about the overall theme of it is very much like him loving his life in Puerto Rico, him feeling bad about what's happening to Puerto Rico and it being treated like almost like a 52nd state or 51st state, and it shouldn't be. But the overall theme really is, the name of the album is essentially Need to Take More Photos. And there's this song that's literally the same title of the album, Debe tirar más fotos. It's DTMF. And bro, there's a viral trend on TikTok that the lyrics pop up and it's like photos of people who've died and like in their lives. And it's just like photos of them when they were younger, older, deathbed. And bro, it's like a million of these photos, bro, that even like Bad Bunny had to post something of him just crying watching these videos because it's so like impactful, bro. So this album is great. It has that at its core of it, like something like truly good for the heart. But my favorite song is actually something that's a little bit more like, you know, trap beat, blah, blah, blah. It's, which is the one that I was liking the most? Damn, bro, which one is it? It is... Oh, it's Perfumito Nuevo. So new perfume. It's like a club song. It's him and this he always finds like the best like Spanish female singers. Essentially talking about like you're at a club, this girl smells amazing. All you want to do is like take her home, blah, 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 blah. But the vibe is at its core, like everything you love about Bad Bunny. But bro, like, especially, are you still like practicing your Spanish?
I'm about to start again. I haven't done it in several months, but I understood the title and that I should have taken more photos.
Yeah. So bro, this is a great album, bro. Like a great, again, I know I probably lean more towards it because it reminds me a lot of like, just growing up in like either Dominican records, like my dad used to own a fucking record store, like these kind of like older Hispanic Caribbean beats would be playing a lot. But overall though, it's great messaging. Again, I think it keeps removing him from the typical reggaeton artist, right? And it just like, there's more like nuances or attempts to be more in tune with the culture. So yeah, bro, this album's a 10 out of 10, but yeah, Perfumito Nuevo is my heat of the week because that one I went to like multiple times.
Nice. No, I need to check it out. I thought, wasn't he supposed to retire?
I don't know, bro, but I don't know if you saw this thing that he was gonna go on a world tour for this album, and then he changed his mind, and he's doing a residency now at a resort. I think it's a resort, but he's doing a residency in Puerto Rico So essentially, he dropped an album and is like, yo, if you guys ever want to see me on a tour again, come here. It's like, bro, that's like genius, you know? Like if his whole goal was like to bring more money to like the island and shit. So yeah, dude, I can't imagine retiring, bro, because essentially like I was going through his catalog, bro. He's been dropping an album like every single year for the last like 4 or 5 years. So
damn.
Yeah, dude, this run again, cause I feel like even I maybe said out loud, like, dude, is he like the next Drake? Like, is at some point this gonna like just end? But I don't know, bro. Like the amount of love he seems to have in that genre, I don't think this should end anytime soon. But we said that about Drake like 4 years ago. So, but either way, go peep the album for you. But all our listeners, if you haven't yet and you speak Spanish, and if not, get this shit translated, bro, because you will be crying after a couple songs. I guarantee that.
Nice.
But cool, bro. All right, man. Happy to be back, bro. Glad you're safe. Again, we'll be posting when we do some of our stories on social media. We'll put the links to some GoFundMes and info as well, that to keep you guys up to date on stuff in LA. But my boy, send my love to your family. Love you, obviously. Let the people know what we got going on. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir. Catch us at audio-theory.com. New episode every week on all platforms. We also have the Heat of the Week, Spotify and Apple Music selections on the site, as well as merch. And if you're on YouTube, check down below, copy a t-shirt, hoodie, whatever you want. Otherwise, please like, subscribe, comment, do what you can to support the channel.
Absolutely, bro. Love you, man. Be safe.
Love you too.
Peace.